What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Hard Count. We got a busy time here in the NFL. I'm doing good. CJ, how we doing on this fine evening?
All is well. A lot of news, man. Big day. Big past few days.
Big days for the Pats, baby. Out here, CJ, I said this yesterday on Gen Z. I don't even know what to do with myself right now. I've never even seen the Patriots spend money in my 12 plus years probably of being a fan. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm in shock. It's like culture shock for me.
Yeah, it's wild. Bill, got all the bread, so it's about time he, stop being cheap and start throwing that money out.
You know what? It was corny as all hell, but I can't remember who said it. They said he's finally living up to his name, Bill Belichick.
Oh, wow.
Because he's shelling out the checks, bro. It was corny, but I said, you know what? I appreciate you, Bill.
Yeah, that's a rough one right there, man. I don't know if
that's one of those dad jokes you just laugh off.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have said that one.
Hey, listen, famous people are saying it. I guess I'll just, steal their jokes. But all right, before we get into everything, of course, you got to shout out the sponsors one time. So if you're into the betting world, make sure you go over to MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Use code USN100. It doubles your first deposit. Actually, this month as well. If you use code USN and screenshot it on your first deposit, you are also entered into a David Montgomery signed jersey giveaway. So make sure you go and check out MyBookie for all of your betting needs. I'll say this every show till the season starts. Sell your house and put all of the money on Yankees over 95.5 wins, bro. I'm telling you, easy money right there. So I'll take like 10% of all your winnings because I gave it to you, but I appreciate it. Next up, make sure you go over to RX Hemp, RxHemp-USN saves you 10% on your entire order. Some good CBD creams over there. Stop you from feeling sore in the morning when you wake up. Bro, I might just have to get me some CBD cream, bro. I got my first COVID vaccine shot today. A little sore in the arm, but we're thriving. We'll take a little soreness to get back to normal real quick. So you know how it is. CJ just signed to be the tight end number 3 for the pass per shot. Yo, listen, I think you throw CJ out there. He's making a few blocks, catching some passes.
Yeah, a couple red zone plays. I'll take it.
You know the vibe. Listen, a couple red zone plays get you paid.
Yeah, that's a fact, bro. I'll take 10 catches for 3 touchdowns.
Oh, easy money. Yes, sir, Alex. I have a subscription lifesaver for sure, as he said. Check out RX Hemp. Then move over to teespring.com/stores/unwrapped. Make sure you go and check them out as well. That's where all our merch is at, baby. We got merch for Unwrapped. We got merch for each individual show over here at the network. Obviously, the Hard Count has our merch. Backstop Banter, Gen Z, Keeping It Blunt, Ladies First, Count the Bucket. Basically, if you have ever seen a show on this network, they also have merch, so make sure you go and check that out and support your favorite content creators out here. And speaking of support, last but certainly not least, as I always say, the Patreon/Unwrapped Sports. Make sure you go and check it out. $1, you're supporting the team. $5, you are entered into a gift card giveaway. I believe we are still doing the gift card giveaway every month. The Discord chat you get, and you also get 10% off the store that I was just talking about. And then, of course, $10. You get everything I just said, except the 10% discount goes to $20, and you get entered into that David Montgomery signed jersey giveaway, authenticated and everything. It's beautiful. So make sure you go check it out. We got Corey in here already.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
Go. Pats Nation.
Yes,
in
sir.
BB, we trust. But before we get into the excitement, that is the NFL free agency. You know how we've been starting off around here recently. We've been doing these top 5 lists. So, I saw the list, CJ. I assume that means you're taking control of this.
Yeah. First, so I saw this from Get Up this morning. Ryan Clark, he dropped his top 5 quarterbacks of all time. Caught a little flack. He had Mahomes at 5. I think it caught some discussion. I don't know whether if he really, means that or, just trying to say it for TV. You don't know nowadays with the media, but it caught my eye, and I was like, let me see your perspective and see who do you have as your top 5 all time? Obviously, we know what number 1 is, so we just go from
Yes,
two
sir.
to 5. We just go from 2 to 5, you know.
Number 1, you got to have Thomas Edward. Patrick Brady, the GOAT.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, ooh, I mean, you can start getting annoying. Yes, honestly, Alex, I might do this top 5 one day.
Right. Next week.
Next week I got
Yeah.
the top 5 NAN plates of all time.
Yes,
If you think I won't, you're bugging. Let's see. I feel like you got to put Joey at 2, Joe Montana at 2. See, 3. You know, as much as it annoys me because him and his big forehead, I think I'd go Peyton.
Yep.
Read the defense, unbelievable, even though he got carried in that last Super Bowl. 4 and 5, that's when you can really start getting into some real conversations. I think as a pure quarterback, I would put Marino at 4.
Okay.
He obviously didn't have, the championships and all that like everybody else on this list has so far, but right. I think I'd still put him up there. And then 5, round it out. It's hard because, you can obviously go back in time with the Staubachs and Terry Bradshaw and all that, but, how does that correlate to the NFL in this day? It probably doesn't too well. And I might be crazy. No, you know what? I'm gonna shock everybody. Nah, I'm not gonna shock everybody. All right, never mind. I was gonna be bold, but I won't anymore. I'll go Brett Favre.
Go Brett Favre. All right, so my top 3 is the same as yours, and then 4 I have. I was gonna go with Drew Brees.
See, I was gonna go with Drew at 5.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Drew Brees. I like Marino as well. It's a good pick. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get that bowl. That's the one that's the asterisk that always gonna hurt him when we talk about comparing these guys. But I'm going with Rodgers 4, and then I'm going Brees 5.
Okay, I respect it. I got Rodgers sitting right outside the top 5 right now. I think maybe like 2 more years.
Yeah, if he gets one more, I mean,
honestly, if he gets one more, I know it might sound crazy. I think I would bump him out of. I think I'd bump Peyton out of 3 and put him there. If he gets another bowl, they're even on that end. I think Rodgers is obviously the greater, talent you can say.
Right.
But I don't hate the Rodgers at 4. I think, yeah. Is it disappointing that he didn't win more? Yeah, of course, but you're playing in the NFL. It's a little difficult to just easily win all the time. So,
right, old school guys, they probably go with Elway. Elway was kind of similar to Rodgers back in his day, mobile, make plays out the pocket.
I didn't even think of Elway. I can't even sit here and lie. I kind of forget. I do like Elway though.
I just feel like you said, Rodgers, like this ability to roll out the pocket, make plays, crazy arm. He has, it's been a while since he's gone to the Super Bowl, but, they've been to the conference championship game. They've been right there the last few years. So they could just try to get consistent when it's time.
Only they gave him one more receiver.
Hopefully they do something this offseason.
Well, let's get into that offseason because let me tell you something. It might not be the best offseason for everybody. But for these 2 boys right here, and I know, Corey, if you're still here in the comments, it's been good for you as well. Corey dropped his top 5. He got Brady, Manny Montana, Marino, Elway. I respect it. Oh, that's a hot take right here. Steve Young better than Rodgers? It's bold.
Rodgers has 3 MVPs?
Yeah. Super Bowl MVP obviously got that one. But
it's a good comparison.
It is. I like that one. That's not bad. But let's get into the free agency because this is what everybody is here for. We'll start it off. You have to start it off with the Patriots. Am I right? Yeah. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I've never seen this in my entire life as a Patriots fan. They decided to jump in right away. So we'll go over some of their signings. so far. They started it off with the bang. Jonnu Smith, tight end, came over from the Titans. Love that. Then today they went over and got Hunter Henry as well. Maybe run a little two tight end set, a little throwback to Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Am I saying that either one of these two players are good as them? No, but I'm saying that's what they're going to try to recreate. Then a signing that I didn't see coming with Matthew Judon coming over from the Ravens. I love that one as well. They got Jalen Mills coming over from the Eagles. They have him listed as a safety, so I think he's kind of like a safety DB hybrid type of person. Kendrick Bourne came over from the 49ers, a wide receiver, and Nelson Aguilar came over from the Raiders, kind of revitalized his career. So, as Alex has said, the Patriots turned off the cap. Goodell says they're under investigation per Shafter. Of course they are. Patriots do good, and everybody want to investigate.
That's what it feels like. It feels like, they just turned off the cap in Madden. Just copped everybody.
You know what? I've never been less upset about something in my life. But I think we'll break down each one of these, these signings. But I'm kind of curious, just to start off the conversation, because I think I have my pick. What's your favorite signing?
I like the Hunter Henry signing, definitely, just for the fact that there was a time before he got hurt, he was a top 5 tight end. I think he'd be a great red zone threat. Jonnu Smith also, that's probably like 1A, 1B, just because we haven't had any tight end production in the last 2 years. So just for a guy that, and the quarterback's best friend is a tight end. So for Cam, who's not great from short to intermediate routes at times, you could pass it to one or two of those guys down the field in the seams. Josh McDaniels does a great job of scheming up plays to get those guys open. And then in the red zone, it's a big time threat having both of those guys out on the field. You don't know what they're going to do. They can run the ball, they could do play action, and then Cam is also he could also run the ball as well. So just so many options down there in the red zone. I think it just opens up the offense, and as long as Cam is healthy and he can just make the right plays and not get ahead of himself and just make the right read, make the right pass, and let those guys get the yards after catch, I think it's going to be successful. Yeah,
Devin Asiasi has certainly left the chat.
It's tough. He got drafted in a weird year. I mean, rookies usually don't shine, and on the Patriots, it's really rare that you see, other than like Gronk, McCourty had some good years, but it just takes time. And then that offense coming in a COVID year, it was going to be tough.
Yeah, as Corey lists here, 2020 they had Devin Asiasi. They also drafted Dalton Keene. They signed Jordan Thomas in 19, signed Lacoste in 19, Benjamin Watson in 19, Eric Tomlinson, and they drafted Ryan Izzo in 2018. I mean, not a single one of those names are resonating, and if any of them would have, it's Benjamin Watson. But if this was, maybe 10 years ago, Benjamin Watson, we would have had something to talk about. But definitely not what you want to see if you are the Patriots. But it's all being fixed. You kind of stole my thunder, CJ, because I thought you were going to go with Jonnu Smith 100%. So I was going to end up going with Hunter Henry, but you picked him first. So I'm gonna say it as well, though. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it makes me weird, but I've always been a really big Hunter Henry fan for some unknown reason. I know that he's had, some injury issues his past few years, but I think when he's on the field, he really does have the potential to be a very, very good tight end. And then, Corey, that is a great point. The Judon signing is interesting. Like all these other people, I understood. Like I knew that I could kind of see it coming. But when I saw the things that they were in on Judon, I was like, where did this one come from?
Right. And
don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that in a negative way, because I am very glad that we have another pass rusher. They also re-signed Dietrich Wise, who did some things last year. Nothing crazy. Yeah, he's mid. He's mid.
Yeah, he knows how to contain. He doesn't really. He's more of a coverage sack guy. He's not a guy that could has an array of pass rush moves to get to the guy. So it was a good re-signing. You need depth.
Exactly, but I loved the signing of Judon. Like I said, I saw that. I did not see that one coming. It was kind of out of right field for me, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. But let's go down, each signing that they've made so far. And I guess we'll start it off with, just the name that we started, the show off with Jonnu Smith. Believe it or not, Bill kind of said that I think he said he was like the best tight end after the catch and, one of the premier tight ends in the entire NFL, which I didn't even know he had said those things until he got signed. And I mean, hey, if Bill's going to trust you that much, and especially to give him, the 4 years, I believe it was $50 million contract, that's obviously saying something about him. And here's my thing, and here's where I'm going to give Bill a lot of credit. We've obviously talked on this show. I've talked on other shows. I think every Patriots fan has kind of acknowledged the Patriots can't draft skill positions. Like, it's not a thing. Corey just listed off all of those tight ends that we've drafted. We obviously saw N'Keal Harry isn't shining. We picked Sony Michel over Nick Chubb. I mean, there's been some questionable things that Bill's done at the wide receiver position, and he kind of finally just said, screw it. He said, I have all this money, and I'm going to start writing some checks out. And got Jonnu, got Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, he finally did his thing, but like I said, back to Judon. Not Judon. I was reading the comment. Back to Jonnu. I love it. Like you said, we haven't really had a tight end production for a minimum 2 years. I'm going to extend it and kind of say 3 to 4 or those last like season and a half where Gronk was there, because he definitely wasn't, what he used to be.
Yeah.
I read it off yesterday on Gen Z that I think the best tight end on the Patriots last year had like 300 yards receiving. That's you're just not getting it done. And actually, I was watching Cowherd today, and they had somebody on, and I believe the Patriots had only targeted in the last 2 years or last year their tight end in the red zone twice. That's where they're supposed to make their money, if we're being honest.
100%.
And they certainly haven't been making money. In fact, they've basically been bankrupt. So Jonnu Smith coming in is going to take care of a lot of that. I was watching some of his highlights and things like that. He's great after the catch, like Bill said. So Jonnu Smith is easy A+ for me.
Yeah, very very limited offense. Not limited offense, but more run-heavy offense in Tennessee. So didn't really have an opportunity to really showcase all of his skills. And you have a guy like A.J. Brown, Corey Davis was making plays for them as well last year. So Evan Lazar.
Evan Lazar still hearing the Patriots could add another wide receiver. Lots of guys still unsigned because the money they want isn't out there. Would expect top of the market free agents or receivers to get paid. Fathers might settle for 1-year deals. Corey is reporting to us fresh off the presses from Evan Lazar. So, hey,
yeah, Evan Lazar,
more good news.
Yeah, very credible source. I watch him, Patriots Press Pass, does a really good job over there with his podcast. So, I think, again, potentially could we get another guy? The free agent market for wide receivers is pretty low. I thought guys like, I thought some of those top guys would get signed already. For Bill, we know Bill. Bill usually has success with some of these free agent wide receivers. Welker, Amendola, Brandon Lloyd played solid a few years ago back in the day. He has more success with the free agent guys, as like you said, as opposed to drafting guys. So I feel like a lot of those guys have a chip on their shoulder, and Bill likes those guys with some edge, and a lot of people that are doubted and just want to make a name for themselves as long as they buy into the system and do the right things, make the right plays. McDaniels, Bill, they're going to put them in the right positions to succeed. So same thing for Jonnu Smith as well, man. I mean, obviously got the most money. And when it comes to pass catching out of the tight end position, and, we expect a lot from him. Cam loves throwing the tight ends. He had a great relationship with Greg Olsen back in Carolina. So I'm looking for success here this next season.
Yeah, and then, we'll move over to the other tight end because, as Corey kind of said earlier on, wrong one, the 12 personnel, that's kind of what they're going to run. And, like I said, also, you're kind of throwing it back to the Gronk Hernandez era. Like I said, either one of these are that level of talent, but that's what you're trying to replicate for sure. So how do you feel about the Hunter Henry signing as well? Because that one also kind of shocked me only because we got Jonnu. So I was like, oh, we're done at tight end. They're obviously not going to sign another one. And then I was driving to work today, and my friends were like, oh, they got Hunter Henry as well. And I was very confused for a quick second. So how'd you feel about the Hunter Henry signing?
Very surprised. I saw my phone too. I was like, Hunter Henry too? Like, word? He's he's pulling up to Foxborough, and that's when I put the story out on my IG. I was hyped, man. Like I said, I feel like you said, that dual tight end did great for us. And like both of those guys get yards after the catch. That's very key. That's something we didn't have last year. A lot of our pass catchers didn't have the ability to break tackles, let alone create separation. So you get two guys in the seams. It's very tough to put. You can't put your best corner on those guys. 9 times out of 10, you have a nickel or a safety that's going to play one of those guys. Who you're going to double. So it just creates a lot of mismatches, and it just opens up to the creativity for Josh McDaniels next season. Let's see. He's supposed to be a wizard on offense. This is his second year without having Brady in the center. Let's see how great you are scheming up plays and getting these guys open going forward. So I love the Henry move. I was like I said, I was shocked, but I'm definitely happy he's on the squad. I thought he'd probably go to a team like the Jets or Jacksonville, where he'd probably get some more touches. But he obviously buys into the system. Bill talked highly of him as well when New England went up against the Chargers last season, and I think that definitely played a factor. And like I said, let's get it, man. Like I said, Bills, they got that AFC East title last year, but we coming. We had 7 wins last year, with a quarterback that threw 8 passing touchdowns. So,
and with a team that you get the ball bouncing the right way, it wins a lot more than 7 games. I mean, just going back on it, Seattle, that play at the goal line, probably not the best play call of all time. The fumble against the Bills that Cam had. The game against what game was Cam out? Oh, against the Broncos when it was like 18-12, 16-12. I mean, disgusting as well. I still say to this day that they beat the Chiefs if they had Cam.
It was close. It was close to the second half. Hoyer, he is what he is.
Yeah. So there were definitely some. I mean, they lost 7 points to the Texans as well. So there were some winnable games, and it's going to be interesting. And one of the underrated things I think about both of them is that they can both block, and you should kind of expect that from a tight end that Bill wants to go after, because you're going to need to block in that offense.
100%.
Especially when they want to go heavy. What makes me excited, honestly, about getting both of them is the thought of the play action now, because I think that people are going to be so worried about covering the middle of the field. Because like Corey said, the Patriots love mismatches, especially in the middle of the field, and I couldn't agree more with that. You obviously saw it with Gronk, always on those seam routes. So, having both of them on the field, maybe on opposite sides of the field, you line up and you run the ball a couple times, get some yards if they can, and then you obviously hit them with the play action down the middle of the field to either one of those 2 tight ends, or maybe Aguilar down the middle or down the sideline. So, I was very excited for baseball season, and I still am. I'm very excited for football again.
Hopefully, I hope Damian Harris can stay healthy.
Yes.
He had a lot of flashes last year. He looked really well, played really well in a couple 100-yard games. He runs hard, runs forward. Sonny Michel, I think that'd be a nice 1-2 back. Unfortunately, probably won't be able to keep James White. So if we be able to get a scat back that could, do some of the things that he did, for so many years, clutch, big time catches out the backfield. Just one of the best.
Falcons Super Bowl.
Yeah, just one of the best pass catching running backs of all time, in my opinion. So. If you get somebody like that to replace him, hopefully, a guy like Curtis Samuel will probably be a great fit. He can split out wide. He can play in the backfield, doing most of the things. Haven't heard a real market for him right now in terms of teams that are interested. So, if we could snag him up for a 1-year deal, prove a deal, yeah.
Def sign a running back, or, and this is another thing, like, this is all happening before the draft.
Yeah.
So.
Got 11 picks in the draft.
I ain't mad. I ain't mad. It is okay for White to go. I love White, obviously, but I mean, I don't think Cam is a big.
Go to the Bucks.
That's the rumor. That is the rumor.
Why not?
I mean, hey, you want to go catch passes from Brady again? I also wouldn't be mad at you. This is a good question from Alex. Do either one of you want to see Fournette or Carson in New England?
It's Carson. Fournette.
You can keep Carson, like you can. I wouldn't mind Fournette. I know Corey's not a fan of Fournette. I saw him talking about it in the chat earlier, earlier on today. But I don't know. I just like what Fournette proved. I think behind a solid offensive line, which he would probably have in New England, even though they lost Dooney. I mean, they got Trent Brown back, so I would not mind Fournette. I don't like I said, Corey is not a fan, bringing out the big no, but I don't know. It kind of intrigues me.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Fournette. I would like to hear his reasoning why. I didn't get a chance to see that in the chat, but again, he made some big time catches in the playoffs. A touchdown against the Saints.
Paying more than $3 to Fournette or $3 million.
I mean, I feel like he proved himself last year. I feel like he's always been a really good back. Was he better than McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook? But in his draft class. But I feel like he's still right there, one of those mid-level backs who has an opportunity to make plays, break tackles, definitely improve his pass catching ability. Get him on a 1-year deal.
Like, I feel like he's better than any Patriot running back right now. So that's why I'm also a little curious as to why Corey doesn't want him. I'm sure that he's typing out his explanation right now. I can almost guarantee it. But he said, go look at his playoff stats. Go look at playoff stats for Michelle. How did that go for us? Hey, listen, I was never a big believer in Michelle, so you gotta tell me nothing about Michelle. But we'll move it on.
Yeah, Michelle is more about durability.
That is another thing. He could never stay healthy. So we'll go to the other side of the field real quick with the Patriots. We'll go over to Matthew Judon. Like I said in the beginning, kind of the signing that came out of nowhere, but I am also not mad about it. We haven't had a pass rusher since Chandler Jones left. Definitely a premier one to say at least. So Judon, I believe, had like 7.5, 8.5 sacks last year. So nothing crazy, but I think that this is definitely, an upgrade at the position for sure. So I'm happy to see what Judon can do, especially in a Belichick system where, you're probably going to get some mismatches and there are some other, players on that team that can cause problems. Like we said, Dietrich Wise is definitely not a great pass rusher, but he causes some problems. They also signed another, I think they signed like 2 defensive tackles, nose tackle type of things, one from the Dolphins and one from somewhere else. I can't exactly remember right now. So
Henry Anderson from the Jets and Devon Golshaw from Miami.
Yeah, so got 2 new, D tackles, maybe cause some pressure up the middle. Judon coming off one side, maybe you have Wise on the other side. Maybe you draft somebody at that position as well. So I like the Judon sign. I have no complaints with it. I don't even think they overpaid him either, which a lot of people were. I've seen, here's the thing too. I don't know if it's just Patriot hate or like people actually think it. Like every comment you see about what the Patriots have done in free agency are like, these contracts are terrible. And I'm like, what contract are you guys looking at? Because I don't know how any of these contracts to me looked as bad. Like Jonnu and Henry might have been the slight overpays, but like you have the money and you haven't had tight end production in 3 years. So I'll take an overpay.
Exactly. In a lot of those deals, we don't know the contract details. So, of course, people are looking to say something about New England. That's cool. But at the end of the day, I like the Judon move. I'm expecting around like 10 sacks. Around 10, 11 sacks. That D-line obviously needs some work. Not going to bring back Lawrence Guy. Doesn't look like bringing those 2 defensive tackles in that you just talked about. Chase Winovich was our best pass rusher.
Jonnu and Henry only counting $12 million against the cap this year. Yeah, I actually saw something that
I didn't even know that. So
I think, if you thought that was crazy, listen to this one. I saw on Twitter today that I think Jonnu, Henry, Judon, Aguilar, and somebody else counted a total of $31.8 million against the cap this year.
31.8 mil
against the cap this season.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Bill knows how to finagle. He knows the system, man. He knows the system. I mean, he's been.
Cap is expected to be $250 million in the next 4 to 5 years. Hey, I wouldn't doubt that with the amount of money the NFL gets from these TV deals. I am not going to be shocked when it's ungodly amounts of money what the cap is expected to be. But my bad, keep interrupting. CJ, go on.
Yeah, and then sooner or later, these NFL they're going to start doing deals with some of these streaming services as well. That's going to be the way going forward. You can already see it. NFL they kind of have like a league pass, game pass type thing, but it's not to the level as like Amazon Prime. That's why they've been working so well with Amazon. You start to see these live games on Prime Video. So Twitch as well. Yep, they've had some Twitch things. You see they dive in with Nickelodeon too. So. They're trying to explore and evolve, which is cool, but but I just think that Judon was good. Jalen Mills, there's some times where it depends. So here's the thing.
I think he's the backup Chung.
Backup, like I feel like he's like Deron Harmon to play.
Exactly, that is exactly what I think it is, and I don't mind that at all.
Yeah,
because I feel like Chung is good to miss at least 3 games a year.
Yeah, he has struggled. He has struggled with durability over these past few years, for sure. I think here's the thing, right? And a lot of people are knocking the moves. We're going to talk about the wide receivers,
of course.
Okay, all right. So I'll wait for that. But I feel like they're knocking the Jalen Mills move. My guy EJ hit me up, was like, "Yo, Jalen Mills gets toasted all the time," and that's a fact. Like he definitely did have some moments where he was getting toasted, but. Again, like I said, Bill, the difference is Bill's going to put.
This man, Corey, loves his stats. Jalen Mills was among the most versatile cornerbacks in the
NFL. He's our analytics guy, man.
Yes, no. Corey is our analytics guy. If you ever want analytics or need some stat, ask Corey. He's kind of like the database, or he'll find it out for you. So he ranked second among qualifying DBs, and I'm going to be real, I don't even know what CPOE is. But it was -12, and he was third in pressure rate at 20%. So, hey, second and third in whatever the hell CPOE is. Corey? Oh, okay. Completion percentage over expectation. Okay.
Yeah, that's that.
That's that advanced, like, he's very good at 65-degree weather when it's raining and there's one cloud in the sky kind of stat. But listen. If you rank high in it, people are gonna, say you're good. So hey, I'm all good with it.
Bill's gonna put those guys in positions to succeed, man. And if they don't play well, you're not gonna play. Like that's the thing. Like that's the thing with Bill. He's not gonna force you to play. He's not gonna force you in the lineup if you're not doing your job. I mean, he's cliche. He's an old guy. So of course he keeps it old school. So he just says, do your job, man. Like do what we ask you to do. If you do what you ask you to do, if you do that. Then we'll open up more opportunities for you, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, if Jalen Mills does that, then he could make some more plays. I'm not expecting him to guard the best wide receiver on the team. Like that's not what we're looking at.
And Corey says he also allowed the lowest red zone completion rate in the NFL. So hey,
that's good. That's
take that as well.
That's a number I could rock with. That's when it comes down to scoring, putting points up. So. He's a guy doing that, being physical, getting some PBUs. I'm with that.
Mills, Chung, and Duggar, they can be super versatile. That is true because they're all kind of like the Swiss Army knives of the Patriots. All right. Now, I know you wanted to talk about the wide receivers, but now that we're talking about defense real quick, I need somebody Corey's going to yell at me. I'm ready for that. Whatever. Now, I think with the money is definitely possible. So, you sign Judon, you sign Mills, Hightower's coming back, Chung's coming back. You signed the 2 new D tackles. Is it crazy that you say, listen, I know we wanted to trade Gilmore, but look at what we've done. Let's keep Gilmore another season, have him opposite of J.C. Jackson. You get Hightower back. Now you might be looking at the best defense in the league with an offense that's actually decent with the weapons that they've acquired. Is it crazy that you don't trade Gilmore anymore?
Yeah. I've thought about that. I mean, he's $07 million this year. Had a down year last year. I think he still made the Pro Bowl, which was.
I think he did. I know he got injured towards the end of the year as well, but
he got injured. But I think he's 31, so he's still good. I think just restructure his deal, maybe make it like a 2-year deal. Incentive base. A solid signing bonus. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to have him. I feel like he's still a really good number one corner to have. J.C. Jackson had a big time year last year. Just he's turning the ball over. It's something rare for him. He's always able to pick interceptions. When those 50-50 balls up, he seems to always get the interception. So, he had a great season last year. I think it's only up for him. So having, like you said, having those two guys, then having the versatility of the three guys that Corey just alluded to on that back end, it definitely looks promising. It looks promising. But the key thing, I'll say this. So it's just about these free agents. I'm happy about the free agent signings, right? But it's also about how will these players adjust to the Patriot way, as they call it. Cam really, he didn't go too deep about it when he was on the podcast, but he talked about you have to have a certain mentality, bro. You have to it's football all day, nonstop, 24/7. So if those guys buy in, it's only up. If not, then they're gonna struggle and miss the opportunity to get on the field as much as they would like. So I'm really just hoping those guys buy in. I don't see why not. I mean, most of those guys that are coming in, they're being coached by the greatest ever. So if they want to have success and win some ball games, just buy into the system and do what you got to do.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not against it. I would thoroughly enjoy it, in fact. But like you said, let's get into those two wide receivers, Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Agholor. I won't lie, I definitely know more about Agholor. My brother's actually an Eagles fan, so I had to hear about him those years with the Eagles, dropping passes and everything like that. But I'm excited, and I'm not getting my hopes up as well, though, because, you look at both of them, they're solid. They're nothing, absolutely crazy. Corey chimed in, like I said, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, and drafted Joe Juwan Williams in the second round a year ago. It's time for him to step up, see what he can do. Add another young cornerback. Yeah, I still think that Gilmore is going to get traded, but like I said, I definitely would not mind him staying. So I know Corey is a big Bourne fan, huge fan. In fact, Corey, we should have had you on. If you're not busy, feel free. But yeah, I definitely know more about Agholor. Like I said, and it's kind of crazy, actually. I feel like a lot of people realize that he had a good year last year, and he actually had the most drops of his career last year. He had 8. So definitely something to work on still. But like I said, this is something that the Patriots haven't really had. It's speed. He can take the top off of the defense. He can let those people work underneath, like in Edelman, like Smith, like Hunter Henry. So I think I'm more excited about Agholor just because I know more of him. I believe Bourne had about 800 something yards last year. That's basically more than I think any Patriot wide receiver had. So realistically, both of them are probably better than any Patriot wide. Actually, not probably. They're both better than any Patriot wide receiver we had last year. Now you kind of can move Jacoby Myers into that 3-4 wide receiver position instead of him being your number one, which even if you love Myers to death, I think we can agree at this stage right now, that's where he belongs. So I'm excited as Corey brings out the Bourne stats. 2018, 16 games, 42 catches, 487 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2019, he had 44 targets, 358 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then this past year had 49 catches, 667 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, and as Corey's saying, Bourne is a red zone problem and does everything well, nothing great. Hey, at this point, I'll take well. I really will. So, CJ, what do you think about these two wide receivers? Which one are you more excited about, one than the other, or what are just your thoughts?
Yeah, both of those guys are situational wide receivers. That's exactly what they are. Everybody's talking about how, look at all the money that New England gave them. Like we just talked about. It's not as much as the tweet says that Shefty and Rappaport say it is, because we don't know the details and things like that. So both of those guys are situational, like you said. Aguilar is a deep threat. When it's time to push the ball down the field, he'll be out there, and he'll get limited snaps, he'll get limited plays, and again, if he's successful in those plays, he'll play. Like a guy like Philip Dorsett, who wasn't that great, but he has some really good moments pushing the ball down the field. Brady pushed the ball down the field when he was open, trusted him. Sometimes he messed up a little bit, but I feel like he's going to be that type of player for the Patriots. And for Bourne, like similar to maybe like a guy like Chris Hogan, again, red zone guy, not the fastest guy, could block a little bit, physical, big time on third down, can make the plays, and that's what we need. We need clutch pass catchers, and I feel like you get a guy like Bourne. Bourne should be open a lot more because those seams should be clogged up because of the 2 tight ends that we just acquired. So, whoever's out there should make plays, should make some plays. And Aguilar, yeah, he did. He's known for drops, but again, if he's in training camp, he's dropping the ball, he's not going to play. Bill's not going to play him. He's not going to force him on the field just because. So he has to step up. I'm sure he knows that. And I'm sure he wants to prove that, and everybody knows the narrative around him. So if he could step up and have a big year for us, that'd be big time. So I'm rooting for those guys. Obviously, I like the Bourne pickup. Corey's been talking about Bourne ever since I've been with USN. So I feel like I know him just as well. So I was watching a couple of highlights from him. He makes some really nice grabs on third down, and he's physical too. So. I like the pickup. Hopefully, Edelman can stay with us. We'll see what happens. And he could be a leader for those young guys that we have in that group. And he could make plays. He could show them what to do, show them the ropes, show them everything, and we move on.
Yeah, and I think we'll round out the Patriot talk with this. I think it's been established that both me and you. We'll go to Corey one more time before I get into this. I like Aguilar. He wants to win. We talk about the Patriot way. And the way he went as teammates in Vegas is exactly what we want. Listen, if you're going to play for the Patriots, you're going to have to buy in anyway. So it's good that he already expects it. So I'm happy about that. Like I said, these 2 wide receivers are probably the best wide receivers the Patriots have had in the last 2 years. So I will gladly accept it.
New England, they don't go for number 1 guys. The last real true number 1 wide receiver was Randy Moss. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. So. Because Bill and McDaniel, their philosophy is, don't force feed one guy, because sometimes you could develop bad habits and you could turn the ball over. If you make the right read, make the right passes to the guys that are supposed to be open, then you can move the ball down the field. People call it dink and dunk, but it's just you just got to make the right plays. I mean, everybody's not Mahomes. Everybody's not going to launch a 70-yarder or Josh Allen launch a 65-yarder to Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. You got to find certain ways to get open, and this is going to be our identity. Run the ball, play action. Get the Cam's going to roll out the pocket, make some simple throws. He's going to put, like I said, they're going to put him in positions to succeed. They're not going to have him
size large in the Allen jersey.
All right, bro, listen, man. Like I was saying, bro, we here, man. We here. I had that 1 year. It was a good year. And like I said, we right here, bro. We're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere.
But yeah, I think it's been established. Me and you are definitely not the biggest Cam cheerleaders in the world. So I'll say this: I gave Cam flack last year, and he had nothing really to work with. I will easily admit that because I kind of used the same thing for Brady 2 years ago when people were trying to say he was bad. So now the excuses are done for me, at least. I mean, I think they should be for everybody else. It's the second year under McDaniels and Belichick. You got 2 good tight ends. You have 2 solid receivers now. Hopefully Edelman's back healthy. You know your running backs by now. The defense is going to do what they have to do to try to keep you in game. So you're going to have more than 8 passing touchdowns this year, Cam. I truly am rooting for him because, like I said, Patriots fan all the way. So I'm hoping that he does well. But if I got to hear excuses this year, I'm really going to go off the deep end because last year you can have them. This year, I think everything is on Cam, and that's why I like I said, I've never been a Cam believer, so I'm not getting overly excited. Like if we did this and Brady was still the quarterback, you wouldn't be able to shut me up right now. Like I'd be chatting. So it's definitely interesting. But CJ, you got anything on Cam before we moving on? We moving on over?
No excuses. No excuses at all. Make the right passes. Minimize the turnovers. Understand the COVID. I feel like and he was right. I watched the interview. He made some good points.
Legit chance for him. Like I said earlier, Cam was at his best with the tight end, and he has 2 now. It's true, Corey. That's why I said you and Josh have been the Cam defenders. Me and CJ been on the attack. So hopefully we'll all unite this upcoming season, root for Cam. But
because
no excuses.
I still see some things where it's like, even with talent, he struggles a little bit. Sometimes pocket awareness.
I saw that tweet you put out in the noodle arm strike.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, there's times where it's just he's running. It's just, I don't know. Could that be the first year coming after the shoulder surgery? So I mean, yeah, this is a big year for him. I mean, if he doesn't play well, he may be holding the clipboard next season, or he might just walk away. Who knows? But I still feel like Bill is going to draft a quarterback. I don't know where. Hopefully, I still feel like we should get a guy in the first round, but we'll see. But again, like I said, there's no excuses for whoever's going to be on the center next season, because they have the weapons. Cam is obviously the best fit right now, and I'm rooting for his success. His success is my favorite team's success. So if he plays well, that's great. So I'm just hopefully he gets it together, learns the playbook, get right, and try to make a run in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we'll move it on from the Patriots. Actually, I lied. No, we won't. We're moving on from their free agent moves. But where do you think, after all these moves, maybe we do this a little quick. Where are you ranking them right now in the AFC?
It's to me, it's Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. After that, it's a toss-up. You don't know. You don't know who else is gonna come out of the woodworks. You don't know what's gonna happen with Indianapolis. Browns had a good season. They could come right back and do the thing, and get in the playoffs. We'll see. New England, Miami had a good season. Chargers might, they got a new head coach, new identity. Herbert in year 2, they might make some noise. The Raiders are right there on the cusp. So it's just, I feel like we got a shot. We got a shot to be one of those 7 teams. And we don't have the schedule, but we know who we're playing. Playing the AFC South, playing the NFC South this season. So, a couple of those teams should be easy wins. Still playing the Jets. I don't think the Jets right now are still in a position to contend.
In the position to be the number 1 pick next year again, but that's about it.
I don't think they're in a position to contend right now. Depending on what Joe Douglas does going forward, but I still feel like we should definitely be able to get those wins against the Jets. Miami is going to be competitive, and Buffalo is going to be competitive. We could split both of those and get the wins that we're supposed to. I see 9-7, 10-6.
Believe it or not, I was kind of on the upper end. I've seen a few people say 9-7. I don't know why. I feel like that's a little disrespectful. I feel like it's a little disrespectful. I actually, believe it or not, said 11-5.
I think Bill's good for 4 to 5 wins alone, just off him being the GOAT, right? You would agree? I
can agree with that. And like I said, last year they're like 3 weird plays away from 10-6. So that was without Hightower, who's the quarterback of that defense. That was without Chung, who might be hurt, but he makes weird plays all the time. Another one that I kind of forgot all about, Marquise Lee sat out as well, another wide receiver coming back. Listen, I don't know. I'm just feeling it. Maybe a nice little 11-5. I put them in that Browns category. I think, the elites right now are, I think the Chiefs are in a thing of their own. And then you probably go Bills and Ravens. But after that, I think it's jumbled, like you said. I put them in that Browns. I put him in that. I don't know. I put him in that Browns category because I think the Browns are the next best team after that, and I think that they're right there. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Lombardi said if BB was not coaching the team last year, they would have won maybe 3 games. So I like that, CJ. Exactly. They definitely were lacking talent last year, to say it nicely. So I'm intrigued. I got like 11-5. Hopefully that might be a little. Actually, you know what? I think we're both wrong because I think we're going to 7. Are they going to 17 like real games next year?
Yeah, I have to. I don't think so. I think it's still 16. But if it is, I got 10-7. I mean, or whatever it is.
But hey,
I see 9 to 10 wins. Because again, Cam's hot and cold sometimes. Just gotta be realistic. So,
bring back MVP Cam for us one more time, Cam. One time for the one time, as they say. I'll accept it. But we'll move on to some other free agent signings around the league. It's magic, baby. He just keeps on chugging along, keeps on finding new teams to go to. He has now signed with the Washington football team. DJ, what do you think about it?
It's a good move. It's a good move for Washington. Smart move. Getting a veteran guy, very durable. I think that's one of the big differences between him and Alex Smith is, Fitzpatrick plays. He seems to be a great team guy. I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about him. Yes, he's been on a lot of teams. You can look at that both ways. Obviously, we know what he is. He's not a franchise guy, but he's a guy that teams, still want on their team some way, somehow. So hasn't been kicked.
17 game schedule this year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I thought we were moving up this year because I thought last year they expanded the playoffs, and then this year they have the expanded playoffs and the extra game. But
okay, continue. Perfect. All right, cool. All right, that's better. That could be better for us. So,
hey, that's another week of shows we got easy money doing.
Word. So, yeah, exactly. That's a fact. So, the Washington football team won the division last year. Yes, the division was putrid last year, but I still feel like that the defense is really good. I feel like they can add one more receiver to pair up with McLaurin. That would definitely help. Logan Thomas play well at tight end, transitioning from a quarterback. So I feel like he's going to be a premier target for a guy like Fitzpatrick. And if they could do that, Antonio Gibson in the backfield, the offense could be really good. Could be good. Fitzpatrick is not. He is going to turn the ball over at times. He's a gunslinger, but Ron Rivera is run the ball, play defense. So if he just doesn't make those mistakes and just does plays the right way, in a very winnable division, I just probably only see Dallas right now. I don't know what I'm gonna get out of Daniel Jones. If he can minimize his turnovers, then maybe they could have make some noise in that division. But right now, I feel like it's between Washington and Dallas. So that defense, they got some dogs over there on that front seven. It's gonna be tough to stop them. So I like the move. Still feel like they also should probably look for a quarterback in the draft. They have a kind of like a mid 20 pick, so I doubt they'll trade up. Maybe they'll look in the day 2 and try to get some guys and try to get a guy and develop him this year. But yeah, I'm a fan of the move. And he's played in 7-8 divisions now, so he's been everywhere.
Played everywhere, to say the least.
He's played everywhere. So I could see they went 7-9 last year, right?
Yeah. So
maybe he's good for two wins.
Hey,
2 wins.
What 9-8 maybe?
Yeah, 9-8. Yeah, that's gonna be so.
That sounds so ugly.
It sounds weird. We're gonna use.
I can't, bro. No more 8-8 teams. I
don't know why.
Come on, the Cowboys were 8-8 for 4 years straight.
I don't know why they made it an odd number. I don't know why they did that, bro. It was. I feel like it was fine the way it was, but. It's
that extra week of football money, the NFL just couldn't say no. But come on, that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I agree with you. I like this move. What were they going to do otherwise? They were going to go into the season with Heineke as their starting quarterback. I know they signed him to a contract, and he was kind of a good story in the playoffs. But I don't know if I want him leading my franchise. for the next couple of years. So hey, Fitzmagic gets his 1-year contract that he's lived off of, made a career out of.
Yeah.
Shout out, first of all, shout out Fitzpatrick agent, because that man has been finessing teams since before I was born, it feels like. So shout out Ryan Fitzpatrick agent. If I ever need one, I'm hitting you up. Him or Sam Bradford's agent, because Sam Bradford stole money from the NFL.
Heading up Drew Rosenhaus, all the Patriots. Those are all Drew Rosenhaus clients.
I think I saw yesterday that like he got like $258 million guaranteed with yesterday's contracts. Insane. And he's taking 5% of each of those. So my man Drew Rosenhaus ain't doing too bad. But yeah, like you said, I think Fitzpatrick is good. He's that typical bridge quarterback. You're going to bring him in. He's going to have 3 good games followed up by 2 stinkers, a mediocre one, and then he's going to go back to being good, and then he'll finish off the season being terrible. It's what he does. But with a defense like that, you think you got to put up like 20, 24, 22 points? I mean, I feel like you can be kind of middle of the pack offense, a 23 and a half average per for the season. And like you said, with that front seven, that can win them a lot of games. So I think that this does a lot for Scary Terry. He actually has it's sad. It's a sad day to say that he has a real quarterback when he has Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he has a true quarterback now. It's not Dwayne Haskins. It's not, Alex Smith on a half a leg.
Heineke through this guy. Man.
So, shout out McLaurin's fantasy stock. And you know what? I don't know why. I don't know if he went under the radar. I don't know if I'm stupid, which is very possible, of course. But I love Antonio Gibson as well, the running back that they have. He kind of played like a dog last year, and that's what you want. You want your running back to be mean, and he certainly was. And I see a bright future for him as well. So they got some young pieces. Obviously, we said the front seven is unbelievable. Might be the best one in the league. Like, if you look at it, total front seven, I mean, I know the Rams have Aaron Donald and stuff like that, but you look at the rest.
Tampa Bay.
That is also true with Tampa Bay. So they're up there. I would put them top 5 easily.
Yeah, for sure.
So probably top 3, but it'll be interesting. I think it's nothing crazy. It's nothing to get excited about, but you're not screaming either. So congratulations. But you said it's between Dallas and the football team.
The football team. They got to get that together.
Yeah, listen. I also need you guys to pick a name. You're killing me with that.
They got to get that together, bro.
I think they said in 2022 they were gonna have a name. So they're going another year as football team, and then I think after that they're gonna have another name. But you all right, CJ? I'm telling you right now, you got to sell all of your personal belongings and go to the casino and put all of the money on one team to win this division. Who are you rocking with?
I'm going to go with Dallas. I just feel like Dak's coming back motivated after he got the bag. They do need to clean up their defense. Their defense was horrendous last year. It was terrible. So they got to fix that. They brought in Dan Quinn. We talked about that last week. So hopefully he could change some things on that side of the football. But the offense is stacked. Zeke has to have a bounce back year. Played terrible last year. And they're going to need him. Mike McCarthy, he has to step up. He has a Super Bowl, but he's also known for poor game management, poor situational calls when it matters. So it's a lot on the line. But I think I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. The magic number for the NFC East, anyways, is 9. So last year it was 7. So it's like, I feel like they could probably get there. They were close. They were right there in the, in that division. Could have definitely won it here or there. Dalton, just wasn't dirt. So I just feel like this year bringing Dak in there, second year in the system, coming back motivated. I think I'll go with them slightly, barely, maybe by a win or so. Yeah, I mean, it's not like 13-3, and then the rest of them is like 5-11. Like it's not like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think I think it is by a little bit of a wider margin. I feel like it's like a 3-game type of thing. I don't know why. Like I feel like that with Dak coming back, and I'm not even the biggest Dak fan, but I think that he just brings energy to that team, and they really thrive off of it. So I think that obviously fixes it, because having whatever quarterbacks they had last year plus Andy Dalton definitely did not work out, as we all saw. So with Dak coming back, he kind of stabilizes the franchise. Maybe teams aren't focused so much on Zeke. He has a bounce back season. Another year, CeeDee Lamb now. Cooper's still there. Their tight end got hurt like the beginning of the season as well, so I'm sure that he'll be back. Blake Jarwin, I believe it is.
Jarwin.
So yeah, like you said, they have to fix the defense. Their defense is god awful. Like it's actually sad to watch. But maybe the offense takes a little bit of pressure off of them. But I think if I'm selling the house, I'm going with the Cowboys as well, as much as it pains me. But we'll move on as well. Drew Brees, you mentioned him before when we were doing our top 5 quarterback list. He called it a career. What do you think of the career? Because when I look back on it, and I think that we're all such a prisoner of the moment, which sucks for Drew Brees, because his last game goes out, throws 5 interceptions, loses to Brady, who he's been compared to his entire career basically, and then if he wasn't compared to Brady, he was being compared to Peyton Manning. So it's definitely been a, what? I'm going to make this comparison for my music people out there. I feel like, and even if you don't like him, you might agree with me, and tell me how you feel about this, CJ. I'm going to say that Brees is kind of like Kid Cudi. You want to know why? Because I feel like he's very good. Love me some Kid Cudi. But Kid Cudi, was putting out bangers at the end of prime Kanye and the beginning of prime Drake. So he never got his fair chance in the spotlight.
That's a good point. I like that comp. You
know what? I try. All my Kid Cudi fans out there, I appreciate you. Man is underrated as all hell. But I'll continue with Drew Brees. Obviously did a lot for that city after Katrina. Kind of an incredible story as he is anyway, playing with the Chargers, has that shoulder injury. The Dolphins literally failed him on a physical. He was told that he had like a 9% chance or something like that to play football again. Goes over to the Saints because they need a quarterback, links up with Sean Payton, and as they always say, the rest is history. So, he called it a career. Like I said, it sucks because we're prisoner of the moment people that he goes out, like that in his last game. I was kind of hoping he came back for one last ride because I just didn't want him to go out like that. But yeah, heck of a career. I mean, he leads the NFL in basically everything when it comes to passing. I believe he's second in yards. He's first in yards. He's second in touchdowns. He had, 5,000-yard passing seasons. And I think there's only been 11 in the NFL total. I think he's had, 3 out of the top 5 completion percentage seasons as well. So you start looking at Drew Brees compared to other people, and he honestly might be underrated. I feel like we never gave Drew Brees the love that he actually deserved. We always put him up there, but I never thought, people were saying he was like a top 5 in the league, or he was never like a top 3 person in the league. I feel like people never said, and I almost feel like that's a little bit of disrespect. And we always talk about Brady, and rightfully so, about not being able or not having weapons his career. I mean, you look back at Drew Brees, besides Michael Thomas these past few years, and that's the end of Drew Brees' career, certainly not his prime. Who did he have?
Jimmy Graham. Yeah, Marquise Colston for a minute.
But I feel like that's his Brady situation where he made Marquise Colston a lot better than he actually was. And then we saw what Jimmy Graham did when he left the Saints as well. That man was definitely not what people expected. I mean, when he was on the Saints, everybody was saying he might be better than Gronk. He leaves the Saints, and then all of a sudden, we don't even know who he is. So I don't think it's on the same level. I think he's in the ballpark, though, of doing a lot with not the greatest talent you've ever seen. I mean, you look at Peyton Manning, had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. So, I mean, you look at Steve Young and Joe Montana with Jerry. Troy Aikman had Michael Irvin, obviously. So you look at all these all-time great quarterbacks. They've all had basically all-time great receivers. And, I don't think Drew is ever going to be able to say, yeah, I had an all-time great. Besides Michael Thomas, maybe. And the jury's still out on Slant Boy. Well, what do you think about Drew's career?
Definitely one of the best. Like you said, his story is just, and also, I mean, talk about his height too. Probably 5'11", 6 foot, being able to throw over those big offensive linemen. One of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. Just for, his shoulder should have been done. At week 17, he blew his shoulder up at week 17, like the last game of the season when he was on the Chargers. Everybody doubted him out. Everybody doubted him except, the Saints. They believed in him and just had a crazy, phenomenal Hall of Fame career. And again, he paved the way for guys like Kyler Murray, guys like Russell Wilson. Some of these
Baker. I mean, he's not in the same ballpark, but
Baker Mayfield as well. Yeah, some of these smaller guys that, maybe 10, 12 years ago, people probably would have just cast it off as just nobody. Even Russell Wilson went in the third round. So that's how much I thought about him when he came out. He had a phenomenal college career. So he's Katrina, like you said, all the him giving back everything he's done, for that city, for that state. So he's just ultimate pro. And it didn't end great. They had some opportunities the last couple of years to try to get another ring, but it just wasn't in the cards for them. But still a Hall of Fame career, and he's going to be in Canton, for eternity.
What a tough way to end that career, though. Not only the last game, but the last few years, the no call against the Rams. I mean, the Minnesota Miracle. You got heartbreak after heartbreak. So he probably should have been back to another Super Bowl. The ball definitely didn't bounce the Saints' way, especially in that Rams game. I still cannot believe that play. But, hey, we'll move it on from there because Drew Brees is gone. He is. Jameis has been re-signed. Taysom Hill got that extension, even though it's literally all fake money. So it's kind of a QB controversy right now, which is kind of crazy to say. And Saints fans, I'm sorry. I know you might not have liked Drew late in the season, but the fact that you're going from Drew Brees to Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, I'll say a prayer for you real quick. But who do you think ends up being the quarterback, week one?
Jameis. Well, Jameis got the new LASIK, so I guess he can see now. And
he ain't 30 for 30. He's 20 for 20 now.
20 for 20. Yeah, he has a lot to prove. And this is a big opportunity for him. Big opportunity. Look at a guy like Mariota. I don't think he might ever get that opportunity to start again, let alone unless it's like an injury or something like that. Those top two guys coming out of that 2015 draft class, he was supposed to be, the next up. He was supposed to be that guy. We've seen flashes at Tampa Bay. He's able to push the ball down the field, but it's just about being able to minimize the turnovers. Hopefully having a guy like Sean Payton, one of the best coaches in the NFL, can help him minimize those turnovers if they want a shot in the division in the NFC. So I think Jameis is good. Taysom Hill, I just feel like he's a situational quarterback. If he proves me right, if he outplays Jameis and gets a starting job, that's great. I feel like he's gonna be in the offense much more than what he was when Drew was there. So we're gonna see a lot more of him. We see a lot more trick plays, more trickery plays to get him out there. Whether he can play receiver, tight end. Obviously pass the ball too. So I think they're gonna be a lot more. They're gonna have some more gimmick plays this season. But I think Jameis will be that guy in the center week one next season.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm not the biggest Jameis fan in the world. Obviously after the 30 for 30, and then also had the fumbles as well. So
you gotta shake that nickname, bro. You gotta shake. It's just some people gotta shake certain nicknames.
Jameis 30 for 30 Winston, baby. But I feel like if Taysom Hill is the quarterback week one, something went wrong. Like, I think that's more of an indictment on Jameis not being able to beat out Taysom Hill than Taysom Hill actually being good. Because, I mean, we've seen it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm some fat white kid that talks about football, but like, I don't see the talent that the Saints are apparently seeing in Taysom Hill. Like, I don't understand the quarterback talent that they have. I understand the gadget plays and the weird, flea flickers and reverses and things like that, because that's fine. Like that, you can be inventive and have a fun offense like that. But a week in and out quarterback, you're building your team around him. Hell no. No way you're telling me Taysom Hill is that guy.
When Drew went down, what was their record?
Did they win?
I think they might have been like 1-2 or something like that. I think Taysom got one of those wins, and then that's when the media started going crazy, like, oh, is he next up? Is he the guy? Oh my God. Like,
see, if I'm Jameis, the thing that scares me the most is like Drew went down and they didn't trust you enough to start. Like, and he's like an actual NFL quarterback. I
thought they did go with him at first.
No, Taysom started all of the games, I'm pretty sure, when Drew went down. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll look it up after the show or something, and I'll gladly admit it. But I'm pretty sure they went Taysom all of those games, which is, like I said, what surprised me. And I think that, Jameis came in to play the Drew Brees role sometimes to like actually be the quarterback under center, and then they would put Taysom out at tight end and stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, I think if he somehow wins this job, Taysom Hill, wins this job, it says a lot more about Jameis not being good than Taysom Hill actually having talent. Am I crazy in saying that, or?
No, you're right. You're right. Like I said, coming from where Jameis came from, early in his career, supposed to be a franchise quarterback, and then you go from, being a backup to Taysom Hill, who, again, like I said, he's good for what he does, but maybe he's, maybe he got something to prove, man, and he's gonna show us something we haven't seen. But as of right now, I'm a rock with Winston, and I think Sean Payton re-signing him shows that there's going to be some competition. So we'll see who got that dog in them. We'll see who the teammates around in that Saints locker room, who they believe in, training camp and things like that, and that'll also tell who they're going to go with going forward.
Yeah, and speaking of Jameis, we'll go to his old team. We've obviously talked a lot about the Patriots, but you have to talk about the Bucs all season as well. A lot of people came into this all season, myself included, not understanding how they were going to be able to keep a lot of these players, and they have. In fact, they're trying to add players. I saw a tweet today that they're in on James White. Not a surprise there, especially because Brady loved him with his time in New England. But they re-signed Levante David. They re-signed Shaq Barrett. They tagged Chris Godwin. They've gotten they re-signed Gronk as well. So they've gotten the important pieces back, I'll say. Because, you bring back Sue, that's good. I don't think he's, the Sue of old, but you still have JPP and Shaq Barrett, so you're fine.
Yeah, Vita Vea.
Yep, Vita Vea as well. You bring back AB, that's almost overkill in a sense at wide receiver. And then, Leonard Fournette, if they bring him back, which I know that they're making a push to bring him back as well. Even if you don't, like we said, before, they still have Rojo and Keyshawn Vaughn. I know that they drafted him out of Vanderbilt. So, they're good. They've kind of re-signed everybody that they really needed to, in my opinion. Like I said, I think everybody else is kind of like oh wow, we got them too type of thing, and a little thing to be happy about. But is the repeat on the way? I can see it. I can kind of see it. At least them maybe not winning the Super Bowl again, because like we saw with the Chiefs last year, it is incredibly difficult to actually go back to back. But you look at the NFC now, I think you can count the Saints out now, in my opinion. So that's one less team. So your main competition is the Packers, who, of course, they are good, but, they haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs recently. There's turmoil in Seattle with Russ, and their defense is terrible as well. They lost Shaquille Griffin today to the Jags, so that's another piece missing for them. I don't know if the Cardinals can compete at that level yet. A lot of the injuries are coming back for the 49ers, so I think they'll be solid again. The Rams will be good. I think they'll be very good. Obviously, with Matt Stafford now, we don't got to worry about anybody else really in the North because that's the Bears and the Vikings and all that. So they're all good. And then, you go down south, and I think that's the Bucks, an easy division win. So is a repeat possible? I don't see why not. What do you think?
Very possible. Very possible. Like you said, got to credit to Jason Light. Did a great job keeping those guys. Also credit to Tom Brady, the most selfless player in NFL history. Restructuring his contract. I mean, I know we talk about Tom a lot, but I mean, that's just
goat things.
Yeah, exactly. So restructuring this contract to free up $19 million for the squad, I think that ultimately gave them an opportunity to re-sign Shaq, re-sign Gronk, and able to extend Levante David. Now everything else is just filling out the rest of the roster. I feel like AB is going to come back. I mean, I don't see any other team taking a risk on him right now. Obviously, you trust Tom. He has a great relationship with Tom, so I can see them coming back. And also, I feel like it's the right move to bring him back because Godwin and Evans do get hurt at times throughout the season. They have little knick-knack injuries where they might miss a game or two. So you have a guy like AB there. He's a number one on most teams still. So if he's in there filling in that role, you're able to get 10 to 12 catches, a couple tutties. You're relying too much. That'll be asking a lot on Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson to be those guys if those guys were to get hurt. So I think they're going to bring AB back. If they get James White, I mean, it's just like. It's like what? I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That's the Patriots South now.
Yeah,
you'll have AB, Gronk, James White, and Brady running the offense.
I mean, yeah, you can't. I mean, he has. I mean, he probably has outside of Gronk and Edelman probably has the top 5 highest chemistry with Brady. So it's like if they were to get him on like a 1-2 year deal. You can't play zone. He could beat man. He could beat these linebackers one-on-one on wheel routes. It's just not fair. It's not fair. So it's not fair. So he's a complete mismatch. They have a whole bunch of mismatches out there on offense and on defense. So and then like I said, they got the guy under center that's going to keep them grounded, keep them level-headed, not get too big when in certain moments. So yes, I see them definitely going back to the bowl and potentially going back to back. I mean. They have the formula to beat the Chiefs. They have the scheme. They still have the players there. Kansas City did sign Joe Thuney. I think that was a smart, really good pickup. That's what they needed to do to protect Pat. But Tom is Tom, and Bruce Arians, and those guys, Todd Bowles, Brian Leftwich. I mean, yeah, if they get AB and James White, and if they somehow keep Fournette, it's what's going on?
I think if they get James White, Fournette's gone.
I mean, even still, I mean, we see. Yeah, I know. We've seen what James White does in the playoffs. It's like you're not missing a beat, literally. He has 3 Super Bowls. He got 3 Super Bowls already. So it's not even any. Like I say, he has the highest chemistry with Brady outside of Gronk on the team. So it's just like, so yeah.
It's an embarrassment of riches, as they say.
I don't know what to say. But it's just.
How about this? How about we trade Bill to the Bucks in exchange for the team, and then we just who's
gonna be the coach? McDaniels? Nah, I'm good.
Bro, no. But here's the thing, though. I say we trade Bill for the whole team. So then, we have the offense. We can stick with the Patriots defense. We'll trade Bill for the Bucks offense, make them Patriots so we can be happy again,
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Hey, listen, even with Josh McDaniels as the head coach, with that defense and offense, we would still have to win some games, right?
I would hope so.
Unless, he pulls another Indianapolis and is like, I don't really feel like having this job anymore, so. Then again, let's be fair here. Bill did pull a fast one over the Jets. This man was the head coach for a full 24 hours.
Yeah, capitalism, man.
But speaking of one of those NFC teams, Andy Dalton, baby, the Red Rifle, over to the Bears. Is it Clip City for Trubisky, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, it's definitely clipped. I mean, they might bring him back again just to compete with Dalton, but he knows the system.
But they got big old Nicky Foles over there.
If for the Bears' sake, I would keep all three of those guys because you just don't know. You just don't know what you're gonna get out of any of those guys any given Sunday. So, push come to shove, you might need a relief pitcher. Come in and win you a couple quarters.
Yo, they might be the first NFL team to be like the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays, they don't have starting. They have like two starting pitchers, and then the other times they need a pitcher, they go to openers, which is a reliever who pitches like 1 or 2 innings, and then they give it to somebody else who pitches, another 2 or 3. Listen, hey, Bears fans, that might be the way to go.
Yeah, that might
Listen, this is what you do. This is what you do. I got you. Ready? You put Andy in first. All right. Then I say in the second quarter, you switch it up to Mitch, because then you can get some running plays in as well. You can do some read options. Then I go back to Andy in the third quarter. And then you finish the game out, Nick Foles, because we've obviously seen him be clutch at times. Perfect.
There you go.
Undefeated season.
There you go, right there. I mean, they tried to make Schefter put the tweet out that they were really aggressive in trying to get Russell Wilson, but the Seahawks turned it down. So that just goes to show, they hung
the phone right up.
Yeah, so it's just back to square one with Chicago, man. Hopefully they figure it out soon. But I think that might be their best bet, man. Just having all three of those guys in there. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen a team that hold 3 quarterbacks before, and I feel like they're the team that needs it.
Bro, you want to talk about the worst consolation prize of all time? Like, you were really there for Russell Wilson, and you ended up walking away with Andy Dalton. That's like someone walking up to you and saying you want $1 million, and when you say yes, they hand you 5 cents. Like, let's be real. I'm sorry, Andy Dalton, but I mean, come on, going from Russell Wilson to Andy, a little tough on the Bears fans' heart. So, shout out all you suffering Bears fans out there. I made my big push for Wilson to the Bears. I tried telling everybody it should be a thing, but it just doesn't happen. One thing that did happen, though, is Tyrod Taylor going to the Texans. Now, this gets a little interesting for me, because I believe the base salary is like $6 million or something like that.
And that Cam money.
Yeah, not bad. But with incentives and everything like that, it's going up to like 12.5. I don't know if you pay just your backup quarterback $12.5 million. I think the Texans are coming to the realization. I think it's happening. Deshaun might not be coming back, people. I think that they're finally realizing it. I think they're going to give in. This is kind of an insurance policy, to say the least, just in case he, decides to sit out games or hold out, whatever you want to say. So it's interesting to me. Obviously Tyrod got his job taken last season, punctured a lung because the doctor doesn't know how to give him a shot. And then Justin Herbert comes out and wins Rookie of the Year. So the man does not have luck right now. Hey, but listen, for Texans fans, you might be in luck, because let's just look at the past few teams that Tyrod's been on, right? He was on the Bills. They go out and they get Josh Allen. Then he's on the Chargers. They go out and get Justin Herbert. So maybe you all right, Deshaun's gone, but you have Tyrod for 1 year, and then all of a sudden the next best quarterback comes out the next year after that, and then bam, you goated again.
He was on the Browns too, and they had Baker.
I mean, listen, if Tyrod is like Miracle Grow.
Yeah, he's the golden bridge quarterback. He's the guy, man. I mean,
Patriots should have signed him. Damn.
Where? Yeah, right. Wherever he goes, they seem to find the franchise guys. I feel for the kid, for real.
What do you think about Tyrod with that deal? You think they're finally realizing that Deshaun's time is up, or you think they're just backup quarterback market?
Yeah, I mean, they should realize it. They should realize it before the draft. Here's the thing with the Cassero's coming from that New England tree. You know, they're not gonna report anything about any type of trades or any type of teams that are looking at Watson. So all these teams are talking about, this team and that team are looking for Watson. You won't hear from Houston because he keeps everything on a hush hush. So if they were smart, they would try to get this trade done before the draft so they could accumulate as many picks as possible and start the rebuild. It doesn't make sense to try to play, tug of war with Watson and then have him hold out. You don't gain anything. I mean, okay, yeah, you won't have a great year. I mean, Tyrod's serviceable backup, probably 4-12, 5-11 type. And they don't have a lot of talent. I mean, Mark Ingram signed there, but he's supposed to end his career, so it's just different. It's just different. It's just different. So I mean, yeah, they're not gonna have a good pick next year, but we already know you're not gonna have a good pick next year. So why not just trade Watson and have 2 good picks next year?
Who has their pick next year? Is it the Dolphins still?
Yeah, the Dolphins. Yeah, the Dolphins have it for this draft coming up. Yeah, they have the 3rd pick. So it's like you're better off just trading Watson, getting as many picks as possible, and just starting the thing over again. I mean, we saw you started over again already. I mean, you went through a period where you had Shaw for a little bit. He kind of held it down for a couple years here and there, made some noise. That's when you had Watt in his prime, so you could kind of, win a little bit. But
the Brock Osweiler era.
Brock Osweiler. Who else they had? They had a multitude of guys. So Danny Savage, Tom Savage, like they had a whole bunch of dudes. So. It's just got to restart.
The whole franchise started bad when their first pick was David Carr,
and then they never protected him. They never put any pieces around him, and then here we are, deja vu. 20 years later, it's the same thing. So, just get the picks, start over, start in the trenches first, then get your quarterback, and then have him on the cheap, and then if that quarterback is the guy, just do that cycle that everybody else is doing. Young quarterback, then pay the guys around him until it's time for him to get that second deal.
Yeah, it's a sad time to be a Houston fan right now. They lose everybody. I mean, the Astros are cheaters. Watson don't want to play there. Harden wore a fat suit to get out. I mean, it's just not a good time. It is not a good time to be a Houston fan right now. But it might be a good time to get on the Jacksonville bandwagon real quick. They obviously have the number 1 draft pick in this draft. They got Shaquille Griffin from the Seahawks, in free agency. I believe he signed today. I think it was like 4 years, something around there. Yeah. And they also signed Marvin Jones Jr. as well. So the tides could possibly be turning over there in Jacksonville. Urban Meyer, obviously the head coach now. How did you feel about the Marvin Jones signing? Because, all right, I'm not going to lie here. I tweeted when I saw it. I always mix up Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay. Like it always happens. So when he signed there, I was thinking Kenny Golladay in my head until I realized who he actually was. But even with that being said, I still really like it. There's been rumors that DJ Chark might get traded to the Ravens for who's their tackle? Orlando Brown.
Brown, right.
For Orlando Brown, maybe throw in some draft picks to the Ravens as well. So there's talks about that. If I'm the Jags, after signing Jones, I don't think I do it. Like, don't get me wrong, a premier tackle would be great.
They should do it.
You think they should?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to protect Lawrence.
Yeah, but I feel like you can get another one in the draft. Like, because now you could run out with Lawrence, James Robinson, DJ Chark, and Marvin Jones Jr., and then, find your lineman talent in the draft, or, maybe sign another guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a lot of options.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they also have a lot of things to fix.
Yeah, exactly. They have most cap space in the league, and the number 1 pick, so they're in a pretty good spot. I thought they tried to get Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel was coached by Urban Meyer. Thought it'd be a great fit. He knows the offense. He's very quarterback friendly in terms of the things he does and his versatility on the field. So I think he'd be a great fit with Trevor Lawrence. That may happen soon. We'll see. I think it's very likely that he may sign with Jacksonville. So Yeah, I mean, I like the Marvin Jones move. You gotta have a guy that's proven at the wide receiver position, and he's a guy that catch the ball in the red zone, great red zone threat. He could get you 900 to 1,000 yards every single season, and if Lawrence is that guy, you should have a really solid year. So I like the move. They're obviously not done. Still got some pieces to go. I think players are probably a little bit hesitant on Jacksonville just because of the direction, and just terms of just how everything is so new and fresh. Urban Meyer's a rookie head coach in the NFL. They're gonna bring a rookie NFL quarterback. So it's just I think players are a little bit reluctant on maybe signing there right now, but they could still spend big. I think they should do that trade. I think it works for both teams. You get a guy that could stretch the field, and DJ Chark. We always talk about Lamar needing a number one guy. He could potentially be that. So I feel like he always had the talent. Just the guys in Jacksonville, terrible at throwing the football. So Lamar, Chark, you got Hollywood right there as well, stretching the field. Who are you going to double? Mark Andrews
in the middle.
Exactly, Mark Andrews in the middle. J.K. Dobbins is a great pass catching running back. So I like that move for them. I think they should do it, and you could be able to protect Trevor Lawrence. You got to have a left tackle. If that offensive line is not intact, you can't have him getting hit like that. We could see Andrew Luck 2.0.
Or Joe Burrow this year. Me and Josh every single week on Gen Z said that we picked against the Bengals at the time, and then would also say a quick prayer each episode for Joe Burrow, and then he finally got hurt. Like, we knew it was coming, and we were so sad about it. But
it's crazy.
But speaking of the free agent moves that have been made, there are still some that have not been signed, and there are some prominent names out there. So we'll go through some of the names that have not been signed, real quick, and just get each other's thoughts on it. We'll start off with his former teammate Marvin Jones' former teammate Kenny Golladay. Where do a team that's been very quiet? I mean, like, mouse in the house quiet, which I'm very surprised about, has been the Colts. I thought that they would come out and actually try to do something. I think that this should be your guy, Colts. I think this is your T.Y. Hilton replacement. You slide T.Y. over to the number 2 spot. You get Carson a very good weapon. You obviously have Jonathan Taylor. You have one of the best offensive lines. Your defense is solid. I would sign him right now.
Yeah, Ballard's known for being patient during free agency and snagging some moves here and there that can help the roster, help the team. I think Kenny Golladay would be a great addition to the Colts. Again, he could go pair up with Marvin Jones again and go play in Jacksonville. They have the space. You can't have enough of the good receivers, and I think that'd be a great spot. You're not asking. One of the reasons why Herbert has so much success, he was throwing it to Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Like, it wasn't like he was just throwing the no names. So I think those would be a good spot for him. I thought the Jets earlier, but they ended up getting Corey Davis and having Mims. I like that wide receiver duo. I had tweeted that out earlier this morning. So I like that fit. Jags, Colts, Ravens would be a good fit if they're not able to get that Chark deal. Giants, Daniel Jones hasn't really had a true number one so far in his career. So if you're able to get him that, he get able to put red zone threat, not asking too much of Evan Ingram all the time. Sterling Shepard could go back to that number 2 wide receiver route. They got a guy like they just picked up John Ross. He could go down the field. He's a good deep threat. That'd be a nice fit for them if they want to compete next year. So he has some options. Yeah, I heard he's being very patient right now. Doesn't want to sign too quick. Just want to make the right move. So I think those moves would be great. The Colts will obviously be the best spot.
Yeah, my bad. I was reading some things. If you were looking at me, I guess Corey sent it in the chat right now. There's a tweet put out from Benjamin Albright, I assume. Apparently, there's a lawsuit being filed against Deshaun Watson. So I think this is kind of the smear campaign type of thing right now. Like Corey said, just reading some of it says too many times women have been put up with behavior that we all know no one should put up with. Should we make excuses for the famous, those who hold special positions? I don't think so. All people are equal. I haven't read the whole thing, but definitely something that is going to be something to watch. I'll say that. At least, obviously you gotta look at all allegations with a fine tooth comb and make sure that people aren't just coming out and saying things. But
Right.
if these end up being true, and I don't even know what the allegations technically are, it doesn't really say anything. It just says, should women put up with this? So I'm assuming it's actually, I'm not going to assume. I'm not saying I don't because I don't want to, go crazy, but definitely something to look out. Hopefully by next week there's more information on it. We can talk about it then, but just something to keep an eye on real quick that I just saw pop up on the timeline. So thought I would put it out there, but it's crazy, crazy times. But we'll move on. Curtis Samuel obviously still hasn't signed as well. Another player out there that a lot of people, thought there would be a market for. I don't really see one. I don't know what the market really is for him. So, I really like the spot that you said. I didn't even think about it with the Jags. I really do like that. I'm going to be biased and hopefully so the Patriots can do something, too. I would really like that. Looking at other teams, I feel like he fit with the Panthers so well, so I'm kind of surprised that they let him go. But if he decided to go back, I wouldn't be surprised at that either if they do want him back. So, there's definitely some spots, and I feel like there's a lot of teams that can use somebody as versatile as him. So, wouldn't be surprised to see him go to many places. But what do you think the best fit is for him?
I like the Jags a lot. I think it'd be perfect for him. And he knows that he would know that offense. He knows Urban Meyer better than anybody in the NFL at this point in terms of a player standpoint. So that'll be a good fit. It just depends on the like you said, this wide receiver market is looking really low right now. So if any one of these, maybe one of these contender teams, able to snag him on a 1 year prove deal.
How we feel about the Jets?
I mean, personally, hopefully, I hope not, but if they're able to get him, for whoever be that quarterback next season, you got Mims, Davis, Samuel, probably going to draft a running back with that late Seattle pick, setting up for a pretty good offense if everything clicks over there in New York. So I like that fit for him as well.
Yes, sir. Now we're moving on to Jadeveon Clowney. Believe it or not, I feel like he's just fallen off. Like I don't know what it is. He left the Texans alongside J.J. Watt and just kind of went down from there. He struggled with some injury things. I don't know what his market is my problem, so I don't really know the best fit for him. Do you have one in mind?
Yeah, I like the Patriots again on a 1 year incentive-based deal. He could play 3-4. He could play 4-3. Just asking him to stop. He could stop the run. He could get to the quarterback at times. Can't have enough pass rushers, man. Can't have enough pass rushers. If you're able to snag him, we saw the formula to stop at Kansas City. So, if you have those guys up front able to get to the quarterback at a successful rate, your victory and winning is going to be very high. So, I like Clowney a lot. I still feel like he probably has a lot to prove. He missed out on some money. Could have signed some extensions here and there. He tried to bet on himself. Unfortunately, got hurt. So I'm pretty sure now. I think he's 28, so he still has some time to, try to revitalize his career and get another bag.
They were in on J.J. Watt, so now thinking about it, I wouldn't mind the Browns. If they were going to spend some good money on JJ, I would spend that same money.
Garrett and Clowney.
Woo, Garrett, Clowney. I mean, they got. I think they still have Olivier Vernon over there as well. So,
he opted out, right? Is that why he didn't play last year?
I'm not positive. So
yeah, because I didn't even hear his name. I thought he got hurt or he opted out.
Those three, that's getting up there with some of the better pass rushes as well. So I would not mind the Browns. That would be an interesting fit. Speaking of the Browns in that same division, Juju Smith-Schuster still out there. This is the one that I really like for the Jags because Juju's kind of a slot receiver. If I'm correct, I don't think he's the number one. But he's a very solid number two. And I think you have a good collection of solid number twos maybe on the Jags if you were to get him. because I think Chark is a very, very low end one and a very, very high end two. And I think that's what Juju is as well. And then, like I said, they already have Marvin Jones. So I would really like to see Juju go to the Jags. I think it would be a nice fit for him. You know, chill out, relax in Jacksonville, make some TikToks and make some plays on the field.
I like the Giants. I mean, if he wants to stick it to the Steelers, he can go to the Ravens and do some work there. I think he has a lot of options. It's just a matter of the price. He's not going to get franchise tag Chris Godwin money. So he'll probably get 9 to 11 mil. I don't see him getting that high end 15, 20 range at wideout. Like you said, yeah, he's like a low 1, high 2. So I see him going to one of those teams, still making an impact. He's still really young. He's only 24. I feel like he's been in the league for so long, but still not even really in his prime yet as a receiver. So, like we talked about weeks ago, hopefully he can mature, and just continue to improve. I still feel like he has a lot of potential. I feel like he still can be a number one in due process if he just continues to put the work in.
Yeah, I think he's I think it's. In terms of wanting to see where somebody goes, I look at him the most. I don't know why it intrigues me, because I think the whole Juju's number one thing was crafted because AB was still there, and then obviously saw him drop off. But I don't know. I'm very eager to see where Juju goes. Another player is Patrick. Actually, no, we'll round it out with these two because same position. Patrick Peterson, Richard Sherman. We'll go into both of them. I think Sherman was getting interest from the Colts, I want to say.
Saints too.
That's what it was. Not the Colts. It was the Saints. That is my bad. I couldn't remember the team. But yeah, getting some interest from the Saints. I haven't really heard too much on the Patrick Peterson front, but I think he's still pretty solid. So a good veteran that you can have come into your locker room. Is that another place that I hate saying it? I keep going back to the Jags, but they have so much money that they can do it. So is that another place that Pat goes? Play alongside Shaquille Griffin. Try to boost him up. You put Richard Sherman opposite of, oh God, on the Saints. Now I can't think of his name. Lattimore. You put him on the opposite side of Marshawn Lattimore. That's a pretty solid 1-2, even though obviously Sherman is not what he was when he was in the Legion of Boom. But, I think they're both solid veterans. I would pick Peterson over Sherman at this point, obviously. But as far as teams go, I like Sherman on the Saints, and I hate, like I said, I know it's annoying, but I like Pat Pete on the Jags.
I like it. Sherman on the Saints would be a great fit. Obviously, I think both of those guys want to go somewhere where they can win. So they could go to a contender pretty easily and make some noise and definitely try to still feel like they have something left in the tank to make some plays and contribute to some winning football. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure teams for them because it's like I feel like they're gonna end up on one of these teams. They're like, oh wow, they picked him up. Okay, they got him on a 1 year. Okay, cool. Let's see what they do now. They got Patrick Peterson. Word, they got Richard Sherman. Okay, cool. So, I don't know what team right now. Maybe Buffalo, Tennessee. Tennessee, they just lost Adoree Jackson. They just cut Malcolm Butler. So I think they may be looking to try to get a guy out there at the DB position. So it's very likely they could go get him. Either one of those guys like Xavier Rhodes as well, also on the market. So I'm really interested to see where those guys go. Those are some household names. They've been making plays for a decade now. So I'm excited, bro. I still feel like there's still a lot of guys left that can make some true impact to some really good teams.
Yeah, especially in the wide receiver market. I saw a tweet from Josina Anderson yesterday saying that she had wide receivers reaching out to her saying that they were kind of waiting to see what the market was like because it was slow for them as well. So there are definitely some free agents out there that can still make an impact, to say the least. But we will wrap it up there. Thank the sponsors one more time. So if you're into the betting world, like I always say, go to MyBookie, mybookie.ag, and use code US100. And actually, right now, if you do use USN 100, make sure you screenshot your deposit, and then you get entered in to a signed David Montgomery jersey giveaway. So make sure you go and check that out, authenticated and all that, so you don't got to worry. Make sure, like you said, if you like betting, you go over my bookie. They got everything. I think they even have like online casino. So if you want to play some blackjack or something like that, go ahead. Now, RxHemp-USN saves you 10% on your order. I might have to get some for the arm, a little sore from the COVID shot, bless up real quick. But make sure you go check out RxHemp, a little sore from life, a little sore from the gym. Make sure you go and check that out. I know Alex is always talking about RxHemp. Our store, teespring.com/store/unwrapped. Make sure you check it out. Like I said in the beginning of the show, Unwrapped works very, very hard on our designs. We have gear for the network, and then if you've ever seen an individual show on this network, on this platform, they have merch as well. We have our hard count merch, Gen Z, Backstop Banter, Keeping It Blunt, Count the Bucket, Ladies First, Fights Unwrapped. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So make sure you go and check out that store.
I was about to say, bro, you can't be going through all them names every week, man. I mean,
nah, I can't.
It's gonna forget, and then people gonna get upset.
I know. I can't have nobody mad at me, bro.
Just gotta group it together,
Listen, like I said, if there's a show you've ever watched here, they have merch as well. So go and check it out. And then finally, we're on Patreon/Unwrapped Sports. $1, you're supporting the team. $5, we're doing a gift card giveaway. You get 10% off the store I was just talking about. You also get access to our Discord chat where you get to become a member of the Unwrapped family, an honorary member. Get to talk sports with us all the time, gaming, gambling, whatever you want to talk about, we're there for it, music. And then the $10 tier, you get everything I just said, except the 10% discount goes to $20, and you get entered in to that signed memorabilia giveaway each month. Last month, it was the Keenan Allen jersey. This month, it is David Montgomery. So make sure you go and check that out for some great prizes. But that'll do it. CJ, what you got for everybody before we head on out?
Hey, man, just thank you for everybody for watching. Just keep checking us out, man. We're doing some big things over here. So got our podcast, CJ versus the World on PSN, on Twitch. Twitter's right there. Hit me up. Start dropping tweets here and there, talking about NBA, NFL, maybe some MMA too. So just keeping it going, man. Just keeping it going.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna need more of those streams, CJ, because I'll be bored at night. So I need my late night 2 a.m. entertainment, bro.
I'll be forgetting, bro. Like I'll run and I'll be like, I'll just forget the stream. I gotta start making it a habit.
Oh no, I'm gonna text you every night. 1 a.m. now. Yo, I know you want 2K. You better pull up that stream.
You crazy.
But as for me, check me out. I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to Unwrapped.
Wherever's out.
It's mirrored. I hate it. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But Mondays is Generational Sports. Last week, me and Josh interviewed Trey Wingo. I'm not letting that go for any time soon. It was one of the highlights of me and Josh's time together. So make sure you go check that out. Trey Wingo interview. We have our own YouTube channel now, which is just Generational Sports as well. We're posting clips from the show on there. So make sure you go subscribe, click on the videos there, drop a like. Turn on the notifications as well. You don't want to miss out on the great content. So Generational Sports is Monday, 7 Eastern. Obviously, this show is Tuesdays. Me and CJ have been talking. We might move the time up to like 9 o'clock instead of 10, for our East Coast brethren. Me and CJ both in New York. We ended the shows at 12. I understand. Not everybody can stay up. So we're thinking about moving the time of the show. We will, of course, update everybody when we come to that decision. But as for right now, Tuesdays, 10 Eastern. If not, Tuesdays at 9. Every Tuesday talking about everything football. And then Thursday, Backstop Banter, everything baseball. Me and Michael talking about everything. The season is so close. We're breaking down, the 4 remaining teams in the MLB this week that we've done in our 30 and 15 series. So make sure you go and check that out. I think this week is like the Reds. Got Gosh, I can't even remember. I know we're doing the Reds, though, because that's all Michael talks about. So we're doing the Reds. Jesse will be on. We might have an interview with somebody as well. And then the week after that, we're actually doing our panel with a bunch of people from the baseball department. Make sure you go and check that out. Backstop Banter, 10 Eastern on Thursdays. The Twitch, Anthony_Conover as well. You know, we affiliate out here. If you got an Amazon Prime and you want to drop a free sub on your boy, I'll accept it. I will gladly accept it. So make sure you go check out the Twitch, Anthony_Conover. I put all of the podcast and everything on there as well. Of course, some Warzone gameplay as well when MLB The Show comes out. I will be fiending that as well. Anthony Conover _ is my Twitter, and then Gen Z Sports for my podcast as well. But CJ, as always, another great episode. Thank you everybody for watching. We